today is Mike Fernandez from the Miami-Dade County Solid Waste Management Office, right?
Yes. Good morning.
And good morning, and thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me here.
So lots of times us in society, we don't give much credit to that side of the business until it's a problem, all right? So you've been dealing with this type of thing for many, many, many years. So tell us about you and how you got into this field.
Oh, wow. So people take the garbage service for granted because they just put out the cart, magically disappears. They bring the cart back in and it's gone. That's it, right? So I started over 20 years ago in the solid waste business, in the waste industry, in the private sector for a company called BFI, Browning Ferris Industries.
Sure.
And then, worked my way through the ranks and came over to the public sector side of waste industry, and did a little work in Broward, city of Hollandale Beach. I was a solid waste superintendent up there, and came over to Miami-Dade County as a senior division director, managing all the transportation of the waste from transfer stations to our waste to energy facility.
So, and how long you been with the county?
I've been with the county approximately 13 years.
So the part of that you're in charge of is the transportation from where?
So initially, when I first started working here, I was overseeing the transfer division, which is if you see the tractor trailers on the highway that haul refuse, yes, they're the ones hauling it from like the landfills or the transfer stations are like temporary intermediate locations where we take it to a final destination. But now, as the director, I oversee the entire operation as well as the financials, which includes the curbside pickup, the garbage pickup, the recycling.
And we're going to talk about some of those things.
Bulky pickup, everything.
So, and what about the refuge on the sides of the roads? Is that another department, or is that you? So when people dump.
So that's us as well. We have our code enforcement. We have a code enforcement division that monitors the
horse country. He's going to save us. All right. He's the man.
Yeah,
right? We're going to give out his private phone number, and people across the county can call.
So yes, we code enforcement as well as our crews go around picking up. We have illegal dumping crews that go and pick up debris that's illegally dumped.
So, and how many people are in this department?
We have more than 1,100 employees in the department, and that's it can range from a labor worker, which is a waste attendant. We have accountants. We got procurement.
So are there certain times of the season of the year where there's a lot more stuff to pick up, and does that affect how many people are working there?
Yeah, normally it's holidays. When we get into the fall winter season, it gets a little heavier. Even now, I mean, with COVID, we've seen an increase in tonnage.
So, in the old days, we used to go to a retail store and we'd walk in the store and we'd pick up the box for the kids, and it would come in the prepackaged see-through box, perhaps, and we put it into a plastic bag and take it home. Now we get all these boxes at home, dozens and dozens and thousands of them, throughout the year. How's that affected your the pickup of those?
We've seen an increase in cardboard, and I think primarily Amazon. Everybody's buying from Amazon. So yeah, I mean, our bins, our recycling carts are full. I mean, they're really full, and we've seen an increase in recycling. In both garbage and recycling, especially during this.
Why don't you tell everybody what happens to all those cardboard boxes from the stuff, mostly from Amazon or from wherever they come from?
Yeah, so it's all transported. We have a vendor actually that picks that up, and we transport to it's another transfer station or to a MRF. We call it a materials recovery facility, and that's up in Broward. Actually, it's managed by Waste Management, the company. And everything gets sorted. I mean, you get cardboard goes one way, fiber goes another way, bottles, everything gets sorted, baled, and then sold to the market.
So people want to know, I've got a box delivered to my house. I take the contents out, I put it out into the garbage.
Flatten it, please.
Yeah, make it flat and squish as much as you can into the dumps, into the can. So your recycling people take it to your spot, and then you direct it. The paper goes over here, the cardboard goes. So you wrap it up, and then where does it go after that?
It's sold, it's a commodity, so it's sold to different markets. Could be foreign markets, China, India, different, even domestic markets, and reused basically.
And so they take these cardboard boxes, they I don't want to say melted. What do they do?
They shred it up into a fiber, and then they make the product all over again, basically.
It is amazing.
It is amazing, and we'll talk a little bit hopefully about our waste to energy facility.
Nice. And so let's talk about one of your drivers. The guys, the faceless guys that are out there, sometimes thankless, especially before, and they're out there and they go by your house and they have these big arms and pick up. That's your guys, right? In your department.
Yes.
How many people, how many homes or businesses do they go to on average?
Oh, wow. So each route approximately handles about 1,200 homes, roughly.
1,200 homes per what?
Per day, and
per day,
twice a week. I mean, each route, we touch every customer twice a week, and we have 350,000 households that we pick up.
Go twice a week. And those are one-man trucks.
One-man trucks, yeah.
So they drive the truck, and then are the arms to pick it up next to them, or how does that work?
So there's a joystick inside the truck,
yep.
And basically you sit, and they're actually European style.
It's a boy toy. All right, come on, we're ready.
So they're European style, right? They're driving on the right side of the road, and there's a joystick. It's like playing like a video game, right? So you actually maneuver the arm based on this joystick. Honestly, you really have to be an expert in doing this, because these big trucks, it cause a lot of damage if you don't know what you're doing.
Yes.
So they look out. You have a spot mirror, and you actually come out, pick up the.
So they operate out of the mirror.
Yeah.
Looking in the mirror with that arm going out,
yep.
Trying to grab it. Its arms, the space is about this big.
Yep. And imagine when we try to remind our customers. Imagine when there's that recycling bin and the garbage cart, like right back to back to each other, right next to each other. It's hard to squeeze that hand in between.
Ideally, how far apart should those be?
I would suggest about 3 feet apart.
Okay. So when I bring mine out, I'm going, okay. I think they said 5 feet.
And make sure the handles are facing your home, not facing the street.
Is that right?
Yes.
I've been doing it backwards the whole time.
Don't do it.
Really?
Yeah. So what happens is, and people don't realize, when you go to pick up that cart and the lid's facing the other way, facing the truck, and it opens towards the truck, it actually could catch inside the truck and go flying out.
Is that why?
Yes.
So many mine are broken.
Yeah.
I'll bet you. I'll bet.
You need to put the handles facing the home.
I only have one. We have 4. All right. We only have one with the top on it. Now I know.
There you go. But we'll get you replayed. We'll get your cart fixed.
That's right. And I'm going, I must have done something wrong. I didn't know what it was. Now I know. So when they pick it up, if it's faced the wrong way, but they don't grab it by the handle. They grab it around it.
Correct. So this arm mechanism actually goes around the body of the cart to secure it, and then actually put some pressure on it, so it has a good hold on it, and then lifts it up, and it lifts it up into the hopper of the truck. It's like this big area that the material the waste falls into, and then there's actually a blade that pushes this waste into the back of the truck and kind of compacts it. It's really neat stuff.
Yeah, and it's a guy thing. Don't worry about it, ladies. So I like it when they bang it up there to get that last bit out. I'm going, yes.
Yeah.
All right? I'm really intrigued by that sort of stuff. All right. So they come out, they pick it up, they dump it over like that. So you want it with the handle facing in.
Facing home. Handle facing the home.
All right. I've been doing it wrong all the time.
Let's get it right.
All right. So I understand one of the trade journals mentioned you not too long ago.
Oh, yeah.
So tell us about that.
So, Waste 360 is a national publication, the waste industry, and they recognized, they do this every year. They recognize 40 of the top waste professionals in the industry under 40 under 40. That was the program. And I was recognized a few years back, and it was really an honor and just a great feel just to be there with this elite group of folks in the waste industry. And it's a nice thing. It's a lot of folks follow Waste 360 in the industry. A lot of big companies, corporations, everybody that's in the industry likes this publication. So it's a nice way to just recognize, again, these professionals in the industry that are kind of like, waste industry is not like an everyday thing that everybody, a lot of people that are in the waste industry.
So in that journal is for people also, not just for governments, but for
private as well. Yes.
Yep. So here you are under the age of 40, all right, leading a pretty big organization, and things that we take for granted when the cans are empty.
Yeah.
Right? And by the way, the amazing part is those guys the drivers and operators, they are able to put the cans back where they were, which is like an amazing.
Oh yeah, it's all like a technique. I mean, it's magic.
So let me say I have it right. So they're facing forward. They got a joystick here. They're looking in the mirror. They get close to the garbage cans. They put this little doohickey out that grabs it, puts it up like this, bangs it out like this, and then puts it back down.
Yep. And by the way, there's also like a camera inside the truck that actually looks to see inside the hopper to make sure what's being dumped. It's proper. Make sure we don't get things that we shouldn't be getting inside the truck. So they can actually look out for that
part figured out. I was wondering where that first starts, and so they have to be pretty experienced to do that.
Yes. So there's training. We do. We have in-house training. So the great thing of this department is we promote from within. So you could have been a labor worker on the back of a truck and worked your way into driving position. We'll help you get your license. We'll train you, OJT, on the job training.
Okay. In the old days, and sometimes I would still see the pictures, and excuse me, but I haven't seen them recently, where it's a dump truck with two guys, all right, and then one guy is they still exist where they manually put the garbage cans in?
Yeah. So the automation process, the automation truck, it's not a one size fits all resolution. It doesn't resolve everything. So you have streets that you really can't fit one of these trucks. So like a narrow older street or a one-way alleyway, you really can't. You have to have enough distance to pick up, stretch out the arm and pick it up. So we still have some of those rear load trucks that pick up in certain areas, or even a place where you need to really back up a good distance, like a dead end street.
Yes.
We want to have another set of eyes on the back of the truck to help back that person.
So I enjoy watching Andy and Mayberry from the 50s and 60s, and that's the way they had it, and the mom and the people with the little kid out there, it's waving hi to the guys out there. So here you are, underage. We're under the age of 40. Right. We're in a pretty big department. How did you know this is what you wanted to do, Mike?
Again, I started back in the late maybe late 90s. I'm sorry, late 90s, and I actually started and I got in by accident. I came in as a temporary person. It was a temp job. I was trying to become, I was 20 years later, I'm still in it. But I was trying to become a firefighter. I mean, I actually was going to school to become
you
EMT.
Still have that look, by the way.
Oh, thank you. So, but then I came across the scenarios that I had to deal with blood, and I was like, oh no, I can't deal with this. So I got into the garbage business. Go figure, So again, I started as a temp, worked my way through the operations. And I started liking the financials behind the waste industry, as well as the logistics and the people. The people are great. I gotta say, they're the hardest working group of folks that you could find anywhere.
So, Mike, and I know these hardworking guys are out all the time because I see them. All right. What about the bulk pickup where they go out with the big thing?
Oh,
is that you too?
Yeah, that's us as
Horse country, we're being saved right here, baby.
That's us too. So that's a lot of technique there as well. I mean, you're operating this crane I've seen these guys, they could get to the point that you could put a quarter on the grass and they could pick up that quarter with that mechanism.
Okay, so how often can people have bulk pickup? What do you call that?
Yeah, so we provide as part of your household fee, you get 2 pickups a year, and each of those pickups could quantify up to 25 cubic yards. So essentially 50 yards a year.
So why don't you explain to us what that? Let's say the back of a pickup truck.
So
full.
So not even the back of a pickup truck. We're talking the back of a big, large, like dump truck.
So how many pickup trucks is that?
That's two of those.
2 of those. You get it twice a year,
right?
And otherwise, if you want the county to do it, they would charge you to pick it up. Right.
We could come out, outside of that, if you've used those pickups as well, we could come in and give you a cost estimate for that. But the other great feature we have is we have these drop-off sites, right? Yes. We have 13 of them all the way from county line to county line. And they're open 7 days a week, 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, 10 hours a day, 7 to 5:30. That you could bring as much as you want. I mean, if you're like do-it-yourself person, you bring it to us.
So there's how many locations? 13 locations. You can take the garbage, the debris too.
The debris, right? So whatever you would put out in front of your home, like the vegetation, the bulky furniture, even some C&D, some construction debris, bring it. We'll take it. Just show your license that you show that you are one of our customers.
So 13 places. You have twice a month, twice at your house a year, no charge. If after that, if you have a big stuff, they will come out. And you can charge, pick it up. So why do people dump out on the streets with all these places to go?
I think it's first of all, it's you have a lot of them. I like to call, we have recreational dumpers, which is like that person that just doesn't feel like going to the nearest site. Mind you, again, we have 13 of them all over the county. I think it's just that, which is, I have that sofa and I just want to get rid of it quick, and I forgot to go during the days. I just got home. Let me just throw it out. Or we have businesses, for the most part, it's a lot of commercial businesses that just don't want to follow the rules and pay. And commercial business do have to pay to dispose. I mean, that's not part of the program. And I think, they'll charge you and say, hey, give me $200 and I'll get rid of this stuff for you. And then they'll just go down the street and cash the $200 and stuff, and they may say, hey, that includes the disposal of this. And really the disposal is down the street. And, we've been very successful this year in partnering up with Miami-Dade Police Department and our code enforcement, catching a lot of these folks.
There was a recent story in the Miami Herald how they look for identification marks in the trash. And rest assured, somewhere in there, it's gonna, somebody's name somehow, some way comes up. And so I guess you figured out I live in horse country, and a while back, I see some guy dumping, and it's right on 118th, just west of the turnpike.
Okay. And
it's one way, and there's a lot of dark areas. So I see some guys dumping it. I said, that's it. So I follow. He sees I'm following him. He runs. I'm in his car. So I follow him. All right. We're going pretty quick. I was like crazy that day. He gets out to 122nd. He takes it right to Bird Road. There's two cars in front of him. So I take a picture of his tag. And I said, I got you. All right. I go back. I take a picture of the trash because I knew that was part of it. I called the police or whoever, and they go, well, we're not going to do anything because you don't have a picture of the trash. I said, I have the picture of the trash and his site. They called me about 3 weeks later. And so we went to his house. He admitted that it was his uncle that took it, and we're going to find him. And they said there was some crazy guy that was chasing him. I said, that was me, right? 118th Avenue, it's a terrible place.
Right.
I got to tell you, Commissioner Javier Soto, who's been taking care of horse country for years, but lots of people think if they dump in an area that doesn't look like it can be seen. Lots of times, the debris tells the story. So how many men do you have now, or women, in that department as far as finding trash and going back to the people?
So we have approximately about 40 code enforcement officers that are out there, and we have and part of that 40, we do have a specialized unit that works hand in hand with the police department in capturing folks out there that are illegally dumping. I mean, we use an array of tools. We have cameras, and we use game cameras, for God's sakes. Game cameras.
What?
Like the ones you use for hunting.
Oh.
So we actually.
Those kind of game. Okay.
Yeah, because some of these locations are very rural, no electricity. Yep. So we actually place these cameras, these game cameras out there, and you may not know, and you may be a regular dumper, but we're going to catch you. We're going to catch you, and we're going to arrest you for, especially your commercialized. And the fine for commercial dumping is $5,000. Plus, we're going to seize your vehicle that you use, because really the bread and butter is that vehicle. Whatever you're using to get it there, that's the bread and butter there.
So there are some people that do work at your house, and they say X dollars, and we take away the trash. So if they do not take that and dispose of it properly, all right, and and you go to the homeowner, and the homeowner says, here, I paid, here's my receipt from the guy that I paid. What's the responsibility of the homeowner? How does that work?
It's really, the homeowner's thinking that it's going to get done appropriately, right? Unfortunately, again, they're full, the contractor, whoever it is, they're fooling the people, and the homeowner is not held responsible. It's the person making in the act of.
So it's important then for homeowners having work done that there's debris to get a receipt.
Yes.
Right. So that if they dump it in the wrong place.
Yes. That
when the police show up at your house because the ID number was on whatever it was, all right, that you're going to say, hey, listen, I paid this guy 3 weeks ago. He did work it.
And that's what's happened in the past. We've come back. I mean, from our investigation, we may not catch you dumping at the moment, but we'll go through the pile and we'll find an address, and they'll come back and we'll go to the house, and yeah, they'll say, hey, exactly what you said. Here's the receipt. I paid this person, this handyman, to get rid of this. Guess what? We go and they to show us where they're at, and we go after them.
So we happen to have an alley behind us, right? This here, and frequently people dump their stuff. I can't tell you how many times I just go right to it. I go, listen, don't dump your stuff here. Right?
It's there. The information's there a lot of times.
There's some people that empty out their apartment. I looked in the drawers. There's the guy's name.
Yep.
Right. So folks, don't dump it. You can pay for it to have it hauled away. You can take it yourself.
There's options.
All right, 13 options at least. Many. If
you're
options.
One of our customers, you could go to one of our 13 sites. We have our landfills. We have our facilities that you can actually pay to get rid of this appropriately in an environmentally great manner. Yeah.
People want to know what happens to our debris. Is it turned into some sort of energy at some point?
Oh yeah, sure. So we do have this waste to energy facility that we've had since early 80s actually, and it's located in Doral. So if you've ever gone by, you may have seen it. You may not know what it is, but it is that. And what we do is we take the majority of the waste that we manage in our system and our disposal system. We take it there, and what we do is we shred it into little pieces. Basically, it's all shredded, and we pump it into these boilers, these furnaces, call them. And what happens in those furnaces is we burn the solid waste in there, and there's these water tubes that go through these boilers, we like to call them. And those boilers, what the water tubes do is they heat up the water, and it makes steam. Guess what? That steam goes to a turbine, to a generator, pushes that turbine, and the generator produces electricity. It generates electricity. It's a great
So we take certain type of garbage, refuge, and you boil it, create steam, right?
Right.
And then it generates that. So what happens to the product that you put in, or is it just sort of?
So at the end of that process, we produce ash. There's an ash that comes out of it. But at the great thing is you're reducing the waste, the volume of the waste, by almost 90%. So rather than, if you traditionally put it into a landfill, you're putting the whole volume into the landfill. Here, you're actually shredding it up, burning it, basically, incinerating it, and making some renewable energy out of it.
So some people think if they take their personal private information, they put it in the garbage, and therefore that's the end of it. So you've been a professional for over 20 years looking at people's stuff as it goes through there. Tell us about what people should be doing with their personal, financial, or
I would suggest they make sure to shred it. Make sure they appropriately destroy it rather than just throw it into the garbage, because in the garbage there's a lot of midpoints and points in between and processing. It doesn't just go straight into a furnace or into a landfill. There's a lot of in-betweens to get it there. There's a lot of logistical things that happen between to get it there. So I would suggest they appropriately shred it up, do what they need to do to make sure that's not visible, their information not visible.
I was handling some work for somebody else, and I couldn't figure out what to do with it. I didn't have a shredder at the house. So I just had this big bucket of water. I put it in there. A couple of days later, it was gone.
Everything was gone, yeah.
Right? And so again, lots of people think that they'll just put it in the garbage and it's going to go away. It doesn't, because it gets sorted. It could have another life for a long time, right? So you've been over 20 years, right, doing this, right? What would you say some of your top accomplishments have been, things that you're particularly proud of?
Top accomplishments. Well, definitely the accomplishment of becoming the director of this department and be able to lead just this great team that we have here in the department. That's one of my main accomplishments. Other accomplishments is just staying in the business for 20 years, just on the same track, in the same career path over 20 years. Got to meet some great people along the way and learn from a lot. Our previous deputy mayor, Lena Hudak, I got to work just in partnership with her, and I learned a lot from her and other great people along the way. But I think the accomplishment and probably becoming the youngest director as well in the county, and again leading this great group of folks.
You must be a pretty good team builder in order to do that, to get selected, right, and to be there, because people have voices, and if you were doing a bad job, for sure, people would know about it. And lots of times, if you're doing a great job, nobody knows other than the people that are there and yourself. So you must be doing a pretty good job in order to do that. So you mentioned about the facility in Doral. I know there's been some conversations about that from the Doral residents. Is there just one facility out there, or are there multiple facilities from different organizations?
No, from a disposal site, we have our resource recovery facility there. Down the street in Doral, we do have our main hub, our main logistical hub of operations, where a lot of our trucks kind of dispatch from that yard. It's right off of 58th Street. We also have the Stericycle, which is is a vendor that we have there on the premises that handles pretty much all the biohazardous material from all the hospitals, and even some of these sites now that we have up for COVID. They handle all the contaminated biohazardous waste.
So the business that you're in, you love it and hate it at the same time, which I love it when they come by, but don't hang around. Go put it in somebody else's backyard. So what is the future of waste disposal? Is that the term? What's going to happen to our garbage and our debris over the next 10 years? What does it look like?
So, I think, this county made a commitment back in the 80s to reduce its waste. And that was with this whole waste to energy facility we have in Doral. I think the future is that we continue doing that, because if we didn't have that, honestly, we would have filled up all our landfills a long time ago. We would have had to build new landfills. And really, that's made a difference in helping reduce the volume here in Miami-Dade County. But I think the future is that. I think, and then we could look at other ways of trying. I think it comes down to reuse, reduce, and try to recycle as much as possible to reduce the volume to begin with. And then deal with trying to do something sustainable with it, like we've been doing with the waste energy facility.
So I see the county just hired their first, forgive me, I forgot, first person to really watch over the bay. All right.
Yes.
And congratulations on the county and for my friend over there. And the county's also said that they want to address the issue of the 120,000 septic tanks that are out there. So these things are all sort of connected about what do we do with the byproducts of our life. And one of the things that we saw back in March, April, May, when there wasn't much use of the waters got all clean. The Biscayne Bay was pristine. It was like some of the islands. It was beautiful. So one of the things that we do recognize is what do we do with this trash? And so we understand now. They pick it up, they take it to your facilities. You reduce a lot of it to create some steam.
Right. And again, the steam creates renewable energy. The actual material that we process at the facility powers the facility. So we're not pulling power from the grid, from FPN. We're actually sustaining itself with the same material. In addition to that, we actually sell some electricity to City of Homestead as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right. And that's, by the way, that's a great feature for the folks who are benefit for the folks living in Homestead. So congratulations on, on doing that. We were chatting with some folks down there recently. So here we are, 2021. What does the next 5 years look like in your department?
Next 5 years, I think a couple things. One, the waste industry is moving to a more technical position with technology. I mean, these trucks are coming high tech now. I mean, with tablets inside. I mean, it's great stuff. I mean, by the way, but it's just, I think, a way to improve our customer service, the delivery to our customers, basically, where maybe you don't have to call in that lid that you kind of put the other way. The driver could do it for you. When they come down your street, they could say, okay, you need a new lid, boom, work order, boom. Try to automate the processes. Electric vehicles are on the horizon. I mean, I've seen a few around the country already that are out there.
You mean
electric garbage trucks?
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, great stuff. And
so they're not going to make the noise that we hear. Hurry, put the truck.
People are going to miss the truck because they're not going to hear it. So it's, and the great thing is zero emissions. I mean, that's the beauty of everything. It's just a zero emission truck that's actually going to go down your street. Remember, the job we do, we actually have to touch each of these customers twice a week, 340,000 households.
That's how many households there are in the county?
That we service.
Oh, that you serve.
That we service. Because we don't service the entire county now. We have a service area that we, unincorporated Dade County, like horse country. Yeah. And then 9 municipalities that
4 times the horse country.
4 times the horse country. So I think technology, electric vehicles, just the processing of the waste, again, waste to energy technology, and try and minimize and reduce the volume.
So Mike, let's talk about as the hurricane season gets close, which unfortunately is every year.
That's us
just
too.
about the time that we think that we're all right, ready. How does your department get ready for these storms, Mike?
So, our guys, I mean, our men and women, they just, we've been down this road before. I mean, Hurricane Irma, for instance, back in 2017, I was involved with that. And we pulled out over 4 million cubic yards. I think that was like the largest debris operation in the country we had going on here. And, we get ready every hurricane season. We have a hurricane plan that we put together. It's like almost like a fire drill. We do tabletop exercises. And when it starts, hopping around, that gets busy, we have our sites. We leave our sites open, the 13 sites open at longer periods of time, so folks could try to get in and get the debris off. What we try to tell the folks is that the residents don't start cutting your tree and cutting and putting out stuff like days before a storm is approaching. Okay, because guess where it's going to go.
So I know the county has done some promoting prior to the hurricane season, but if somebody wanted to cut their trees, all right, not when the storm is like off our coast,
shore.
How far ahead of time should they really start planning on that, Mike?
I would say start from June 1st when hurricane season starts. Start thinking about doing all that. Don't wait until there's a hurricane warning or a watch or anything like that coming over the shore, near, off the shoreline. I think they need to just plan ahead, look at the trees. Hey, I need to catch up with that. I need to catch up with this. But don't start doing that again in the 12th hour, because what's going to happen is, one, when you go to one of these 13 sites, we're going to be slammed. I mean, you're going to be in line trying to get in because everybody's trying to do the same thing, right? So avoid that. Again, we do increase our hours just to accommodate in case you did have something prior to the storm, out there. We go out there and just really put emphasis. Our men and women start working like 12, 14-hour shifts, and they're out there trying to collect as much as possible.
And I'm forever grateful during whatever storm it was. We cut the trees are down. I have our guy cutting it out. So I hear the truck at the other end. I called my landscaper who lives next door. I said, "Come here." I said, "You have 15 minutes to get this tree out, cut it, all right, and get it in pieces and put it out there. This is your only opportunity. It has to be done by the time they reach us, or else I'm not doing it." Sure enough, right? It was the fastest $200 that he made. And I was so happy that your guys are out there,
right,
really professional. When it's busy, they have a guy in a car that's sort of like there, and they got a couple trucks lined up. And these guys are so perfect in picking up that stuff.
I mean, they'll clean. I mean, our folks, they clean it up like there was never a pile there to begin with. I mean, they rake everything up.
These are real pros when they do that.
Oh yeah, they're professionals.
And those jaws are huge,
right? On the clamshell, we call that clamshell. I mean, again, bigger equipment, bigger damage. I mean, for them to just be able, I mean, they could skin off the material off the grass without damaging your grass. Yeah. I mean,
and by the way, so if there's a problem, if something's damaged, they would call up the department and say, "Hey, you guys were out. This is what happened."
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that's wonderful. What a great job. And sometimes that we don't pay any attention to that. But if you're in business or you have garbage from your house, you should pay a lot of attention to it. And on those green things, what do you call them?
The carts, basically, are garbage carts or waste carts.
Which way should the handle face?
Handles facing the house. Handles must face the home, please.
Because it's going to give a longer life to the.
We won't break your lid.
And and I'll tell you why I do it that way, and it's because when I take it around, I sort of go out into the street and back it in that way. So that's the last place, rather than go over to the grass and do that. But I'm going to make sure I do it the right way. Now, again, let's just talk about recycling. If people have recycling stuff, do they put it in? We got 2 minutes left. They put it into a different dumpster?
Sure. So we have a different cart. It's a blue cart that we have for our customers. And we have a single stream recycling program, which back in the days, remember we used to have the bins,
yes,
yellow, I think, and green. So, paper, we call it fiber paper, cardboard, bottles, cans, aluminum, all that can be mixed into one cart.
So people need to do their part and do that.
No, please, no bowling balls, no pool pumps, no trees, no clothing.
So, Mike, you've been highly successful at your career, and there's some young man that's out there. He's looking right at you today, and he's looking towards his future. Why don't you talk to him or to her? And you got to look at that camera right there, and Tommy's going to make sure. Which one? Oh, right here. So talk to him. You have 45 seconds.
So about the future of them. You know, if you want to get into the industry, and it's a great industry to get into, solid, you know, the waste industry as well as mosquitoes. We also handle mosquitoes through mosquito control. So mosquito control is a great thing too. It's very scientific. A lot of proactive measures we take to avoid mosquitoes from generating. But anyhow, get into the business, the waste industry business. It's a great hard workers, logistics. You got accountants, procurement, everything. It's a great business to get into.
Okay, terrific. Thank you for that. We got 1 minute left. I see some of our folks are asking about what they should do with paint and tires.
Paint and tires. So paint, we have our home chemical centers. We have 2 home chemical centers where we accept water-based paint. And actually, we have a program called the Chem Again program where you can actually bring the paint, and let's say you need some paint, you can actually come and we trade off. Basically, you can come and get a gallon of paint. Tires could be taken to our trash and recycling centers, which are those 13 sites. We have. Please look at the guides. Go online because certain sites don't have that accommodation based on the space limitations, but we do accept them there.
There's some websites up there. Does that look like the right websites up there? Miami-Dade.gov.
Yes.
Those are the right websites.
Solid waste. Make sure.
And somebody asked also, George asked about, what about refrigerators?
Refrigerators, we actually accept those at the trash and recycling centers too. Those, we consider that white goods.
Okay. By the way, when I was this big, one of our neighbors disappeared, a little girl, and she went into a refrigerator that was left at the front of her house and died.
Wow.
So listen, just from a conscious point, take the door off, all right?
Take the door off.
Yeah, just take the door off and be done with it. And your kids can have a good time with a sledgehammer, all right? And somebody, what about doors? Oh, the doors, I guess, on the refrigerator. All right, so Frank, thank you. I'm sorry, Mike. Mike Fernandez from the Miami-Dade County Solid Waste Management. Congratulations to you and the great team that you have, and we appreciate your hard work.
Thank you.
And thanks you for joining us. And by the way, you're welcome to come back twice a month and be right there.
Great.
And all right.
Looking forward to it.
Oh, that's tremendous. Again, thanks for joining us. This is Live with Miami's Community News. Tommy, thank you for producing the show. Folks, have a great day and enjoy it.